All right, we're like video number 6 or so on this 2012 Suzuki, I don't remember what it is again, but this is the one where it was a used car place. Somebody filled up this car just to make a sale to somebody, and I found out, and that was explained in the previous videos. I recovered the refrigerant. There was only 280 grams inside here, and this system on this car took 450, 210 to 450. I put 450 back in there. They need an evaporator. They're going to order the evaporator, probably do the vehicle, because she's already into this car. She already bought it. I guess maybe it's too late to turn it back, whatever the story is, I don't know. She might not do it, but they're going to look into the parts and everything, give her some cooling while the parts arrive, because their sun is really strong here and you don't want a cooking customer. The leak is small, and it'll be enough for them to, and it's so small, I'll probably be able, in the next few days of getting parts, probably won't be able to measure how much came out. Maybe an ounce. What was I gonna say? Okay, so now that I have 450 grams in here and 45 psi right there, where you see that 45? So at 45 degrees is when the compressor cuts off. And before, if you remember in the earlier videos, it wouldn't even cut off because it could not cool enough. A few times under recycle, if you remember the first videos, I got down to 45 degrees, and I think in one little segment of one video, I even got down to 43 degrees, I think, just for a fraction of a second. I don't know if I caught it on my video or not, but that was with only 280 grams in here out of the 450, with it sitting in the sun. Now I have it, I'm trying to find out what RPM where I could have it not cycle anymore. As you can see, I had a section of no cycling because I turned the RPMs down. But as the cabin cools, it's able to catch up and start meeting that minimum 45 degrees. Right, almost there. Come on, get down there, give me the bottom point. Right there at 45. And that's where you see it cycle off and you see the temperature go up. And I keep lowering the RPM. Let's see where I'm at right now. I think I'm at just over 1,000 RPMs right now. And I'm trying to find that minimum RPM that makes it not cycle anymore. So let's kick it down some more. Let me see if I could kick it down a little bit more. I want it under 1,000. Come on. I'm having a hard time getting under 1,000. But not idle. Okay, I'm gonna try that now. Because it's full of refrigerant, it's easier, and I have the doors and windows closed, it's easier for the evaporator to cool down the entire vehicle. So now what you're gonna notice here is it's gonna turn on, and it's gonna stay on for a long time. And because are you gonna make me a liar? No, you're staying steady, 45, you're going up, yeah, okay. So, and look at superheat. Now, if you're in commercial refrigeration or residential HVAC, wasn't my first videos with 280 grams around 37 superheat? But now I have full refrigerant charge of 450 grams, and I'm still almost identical, almost no change. And look at the suction line. Wasn't I 70 degrees or 73 degrees on the suction line? But the same superheat. Half empty, completely full. These new cars do not operate like we were taught in class in HVAC school. So for you guys in HVAC school, think like mini splits and VRFs. You don't go by superheat or subcooling just by grabbing the system. So it looks like I got a steady state here, but I can't achieve 49 degrees, 50 degrees, 49, 49.9. So I'm at an RPM where it's not efficient enough with the refrigerant to pump enough pounds past the expansion valve to overcome the heat load inside the car. So the temperature is no longer going down because I'm at idle or near idle, So it cannot move enough refrigerant past the expansion valve because it's pounds. Every pound of refrigerant can absorb only so many BTUs. And it can't do that right now because the compressor is going too hard. Now, if I kept it exactly like it is and I moved this car and I took it in the shade, it would have no sun load. Then you would start seeing the interior cab temperature and the evaporator temperature start going down. But because it's out in the sun and there's a sun load on it and it's only 60 some degrees outside, it can't handle the sun load even with a full charge at idle and keep up. So compressors were not built and meant to operate at idle on cars efficiently. So if I kick up the engine RPM, I'll make the compressor run in its efficient range and give it the capability of moving more pounds of refrigerant. Let's look at the idle. More pounds of refrigerant over a given point through that expansion valve and that expansion device to overcompensate, or not overcompensate, to compensate for the amount of BTUs that are being forced through radiant heat, because the radiant energy of the outside temperature is not rising. It's the radiant heat striking all the dark gray and black plastic in the car, raising the temperature. So you see I jumped up the idle to what was that, 1100 RPMs, and now you see the temperature coming down. It's moving more pounds of refrigerant across the expansion device. There's more liquid refrigerant capable of removing more, absorbing more heat that is coming across the fins, absorbing into the fins, that the fins are attached to the tubes, then those fins where they touch the surface of the tube material, in the middle inside here is the refrigerant, and then that heat has to pass to the refrigerant and then go back through the loop again. And look at our temperatures coming down. We're at 46. If I drop one more degree, it will start kicking out the clutch again. There it goes. Just kicked out the clutch. And of course the iPhone just doesn't want to do its thing. 46. And you can see where it, get that out of the way. You can see where it kicked out, kicked back in. So, catch you up with the follow-up story when they get the evaporator, replace the new desiccant bag. This is 2012. You're already paying for the labor to remove the expansion valve while you're doing the evaporator. So it's an option, it's not needed, but you can give the customer a choice. Do you want to change the expansion valve right now? It's a cheap part, probably $36, $66, something like that. And the labor, you don't have to pay no more for because it's already taken out to get to the evaporator. So it's your choice, Mr. Customer, whether you want to do this piece or not. They do drift out of calibration sometimes with age. They do get stuck with age. The bulb can lose its charge at TART. The pintle could get stuck. A myriad of things can happen. So that's an option. Now, if it was a compressor burnout, it's not an option. You change the expansion valve every time. I'm talking about a black burnout with burnt oil and metal flakes and everything like that. Not even an option. New everything. No options available on that one if you want warranty. If you don't want warranty, go to the cheap guy down the corner who will just throw on a compressor on a burnt out system with metal flakes on it, change no parts, and see what you get for that cheaper price. See a lot of those on YouTube. All right, guys, I'll see you later. And as you see, basically, let's unload this thing. Let's put it under a load, open the windows, open the doors, take it off, recycle, put it under that high load that we had before. Let's draw in the outside air like we did before. There we go. So now we're going to draw in that hot air because we're no longer under recycle. We're going to leave the door open because you guys who watched the earlier videos know this was how we were testing it. And you can compare that earlier video with the doors open on fresh air mode, taking in hot air, to this video. And you can see our superheat went up. because we have more load going over the, and look at the superheat come down. Can we stop, it's trying to get there. And it's going down. As our compressor is stroking up, it is trying to compensate for that heavy load because the temperature, what's our temperature? Oh, that's when it was off because it's just sitting there being saturated with hot air. 96 degrees. So we got 96 degree air going over the evaporator. So at now, instead of recycled air in the 70s or so, we got almost 100 degree air going over the evaporator. We got a heavy, oh, there we go. It came back down to 37. Amazing what these variable displacement compressors would do. And look at 73 degrees. My very first video was 73 degrees with 280 grams in the sun under load. Now I have 450 grams and I got the same readings. Isn't that amazing? This is why you can't listen to those old fogies with the jerk-off cans who tell you they go by some sort of pressure or some sort of temperature or anything like that, because the AC system is not operating like a residential fixed speed Copeland compressor with an indoor-outdoor unit or some commercial refrigeration on it that everything is fixed speed. It doesn't work the same. This is more like your VFR. All right, I'll see you guys.